Hi, I am James Dean Vogel of the Bioprocess Institute, and welcome to Between Two Ferals. Today we'll be meeting with Josh Curry, Product Line Manager of Nordson Medical. He's here to talk about their Pharma Plus tubing retainers. So let's welcome Josh to the Bioprocess Institute. Josh, welcome to the Bioprocess Institute.
Jim, it's
great to see you again.
Great to see you again. It's good to be back.
Yep. Well, we're here to talk about your Pharma Plus tubing retainers.
Yes,
They're
sir.
pretty good innovation that Nordson has come up with. So why don't you share with us just some of the background and how we came up with this.
Sure.
and what they do for us.
Yeah, so I mean, Nordson Medical has been involved with tubing connectors and barbs for 50 plus years. So very, very familiar with barbs, how they interface with tubing. We've got tons of different configurations and designs to try to optimize that connection point. But everyone is looking for that additional security. They're looking for something that's going to improve the pressure resistance of the connection, the pull-off force. So over time, people have started to incorporate things like cable ties, Oetiker clamps to try to add that security on there. Mm-hmm. But in that, we've kind of noticed there was a gap. So traditional cable ties, looking at this here, additional attention, is you put the cable tie on, tighten it up, but what you find is there's a pinch point in that. It's not designed to go perfectly circular around the connection. And so a lot of times what we'll see is that they'll double up on that on that cable tie, rotate 180 degrees so you can offset those pinch points to hopefully kind of close off that leak path.
Yep, so therefore you have full compression all the way around, but it's on two spots as you showed there with the wire ties there.
Two ties. And then, I mean, on the other side of the spectrum, introducing the metal clamps.
Yep.
Which are great for high pressure applications, really secure, but it does introduce quite a few problems. You have to size them correctly. You have to make sure that it's installed on the tubing before your fitting goes on. Make sure that it's able to get over the barb, but still get tight enough when you go to compress it to make sure that you're getting that. So there's a little bit more work up front. The tools are a lot more involved as well. I mean, you've got to get those in there, get them all crimped out right. So we saw that there was a need to improve on those plastic cable ties, but also not go quite as overboard as some of these metal crimps would be.
Right. I mean, I've been involved with many deviations from end users where they've seen the leaking, whether it's one or two cable ties, and then the full Monty is kind of, all right, well then we're going to have to go with the metal clamps going forward, and there's a change order and costs and all those things that tie into that.
Right. So what we've done is we innovated on the plastic zip tie that was currently there. We made an intentional product that was designed for use to hold tubing. It's not coming out of a need for electrical, bundling cables or something like that. It was just, it's not taking from what exists, it was creating something for a purpose, and that is to add additional security to a barb connection. So what we've done, we filled in the gap that would be created by that traditional cable tie. There's a ramp that goes and fills it and creates a complete 360-degree sealing compression area.
So you have that contact that basically matches the curvature of the fitting.
Exactly. And we did that with 3 sizes. So rather than having one size for every configuration you can think of as far as wall thicknesses, tubing material, barb size, we really limited it to 3 sizes that covers a wide range for you, so it kind of eliminates the number of SKUs you got to keep around. But fills that gap. We also made them slightly wider. So what we found is that the best place to improve that sealing, improve the pull-off force, is to install your retention device right on top of the sharpest part of the barb.
Okay.
So that's where the barb engages with the tubing. It's where it's holding the tubing. And so by putting the tubing retainer right on top of that, it reinforces it.
And that's your recommended way to install these on the edge of the barb, okay, which is not what is recommended with the others because they're too small.
Yeah, so typical installations, you put your cable tie, you put your Oetiker, it's behind the barb. which is fine, and it is acceptable for this one as well. But we have seen improved performance by putting it directly on top of the barb.
Okay. Okay, very nice. So that testing, and it's in your qualification package that one can get if they request it from Nordson.
Exactly. We're happy to share all the testing that our team did. Put a lot of effort into building out a validation package to give you guys a lot of security and confidence to know that what you're choosing is going to be suitable for your system. Okay,
so let's talk a little bit about it, and this is maybe one of those things that everyone is aware of in the industry, is all of these hose barbs are not the same size, right? So Nordson does make your fittings for both the tri-clamp side and the hose barb side. So what's the advantage of using your fittings, let's say, over something I get off of Amazon or someplace like that?
Yeah, so kind of like I mentioned when I first started, we have a range of barbs ourselves. So independent of differences from manufacturer to manufacturer, we have different designs ourselves, and some of them are better suited for like a rigid tubing. One would work better for C-flex or a silicone, but they all have slightly different geometries, slightly different designs. So you need something that's going to accommodate all of that. But when it comes to using larger silicone specifically, so 1/2 inch, 3/8, 3/4, getting a little bit larger, we've really standardized on our 600 series barb. It has a longer neck to support putting either an autocur behind it, dual cable ties behind it and all that. And then it also has kind of a lead-in that is very, very well suited for that specific tubing. And so using the cable retention that we have, the tubing retention that we provide with our 600 series barb is going to provide the most secure connection that's available. Okay,
why don't you show us, why don't you do a fit up quick just to show how this comes together?
So it should be very similar to anybody who's already installed a cable tie. One thing that's important is the teeth are actually on the outside of the tubing, so the teeth that grab in there, so you're not going to worry about that digging into the tubing itself. But the installation method is pretty much exactly the same. A lot of the tools that can be reused that are already in place. The one thing to consider is if you are using the larger sizes, your tool does need to have the wider throat to accommodate those.
Right.
But we do have a recommended installation tool if there's ever a question about it. But just slides on, just like a normal tubing retainer, and you can clip it off either way, either upside down or right side up, I guess. And then just clip it right off, and you're good to go. Normally you would have to go through with another cable tie, repeat that on the other side, make sure they're oriented 180 degrees from each other.
But not with the Pharma Retainer Plus.
It is designed to be a 2-for-1 replacement.
Okay, very good, very good. Do you have any advice you'd give to a young person starting off in this industry or into maybe getting into components for the biopharma industry?
Sure, so always be looking for new opportunities. Keep an eye out for new technologies that are being developed. I mean, companies like Nordson, companies all around the world, all across the US are trying to innovate, they're trying to solve problems. Be open to those innovations, look for those innovations. I mean, you got to be careful with what's out there. Not everything is going to be better, but there is always room to improve. There's investments that can be made in the future to make just bioprocessing better in general.
And I think the key thing is add value, take the training that you have in university or whatever, focus on core technical things, and then just pragmatic ways of approaching it to create that value.
What I always say is just because it's always been done one way doesn't mean it needs to keep being done that way.
Yep, very good, very good. All right, well, Josh, thank you very much for coming to the Bioprocessing.
Thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it.